Good morning, this is Meir Valensky with Driving Markets. So let's look at what was driving markets yesterday and what's going to be driving markets today. Well, yesterday the markets plummeted across the board on two factors. Number one, on Wednesday evening, Facebook, which is actually listed as Meta Platforms, came out with horrendous results. And yesterday the shares were hammered in Facebook, down 26%, which is the highest level ever of a downfall in Facebook. 26%, which was huge, absolutely huge downfall. They missed expectations, and the forecast going forward is pretty negative. So the shares were hammered. With that, the other shares amongst those groups, which was Amazon, the Netflix, the Alphabets, they also came down as well, following on from Facebook. Then last night, Amazon came out with better than expected figures with a good forecast, and also raising the cost of the membership of Amazon Prime. Therefore, their shares shot up and took the Nasdaq back up again. So you can see what we've been talking about since January is the volatility, where the markets are going up, the markets are going down, but there's no clear direction short term. There's no clear direction short term. Yesterday in the UK, interest rates were raised by another 25 basis points. You're going to have interest rate rises in Australia, New Zealand, Canada. You'll have the States in March. As far as Europe's concerned, they're not raising interest rates because they believe that by the end of the year, inflation will be under control, and they don't see any need to increase interest rates. What? Did you hear what I just said? ECB believes that inflation will be under control by the end of the year, and therefore doesn't see any need to raise interest rates. Are they living in cloud cuckoo land or something? Inflation is rampant. Oil has gone to above $90 a barrel, first time since 2014, which will feed through further to inflation. And they're telling us, or fooling us, that inflation will be under control by the end of the year. Wow, that is one major gamble. And in my opinion, I think they're completely, totally wrong. As I said all along, I think underlying core inflation is significantly higher than being listed and being printed, and I think it's going to continue for the next year, 2 years, simply because you've got pent-up demand, you've got supply chains, and you've got the cost of raw materials, which is just going through the roof. And the main constant amongst all those raw materials is the price of oil. The price of oil has now passed $90 a barrel, as I said before, and that's going to feed through to the supply chain, transport, delivery, costs, everything. So if the ECB comes back and says that we don't believe inflation is going to be a real threat by the end of the year, then I'd like to put some money on that particular bet. Okay, going forward, you're going to continue having volatility in the marketplace. The bull market's not really been broken, just to let you know, apart from the Nasdaq. It's not really been broken across the other markets. It's still there. The graphs are still heading north. There's plenty of support. There's a load of money in the market there to be bought for investors, or the big hedge funds and the big institutions, to buy up stock at a cheap price. So just to be aware of that the trend has not been broken. I believe that it will be broken. I believe the market's going to go down. I've said this in one video after another. So anyone who thinks that I'm changing my opinion, I'm not changing my opinion. I think we're on for a downward spiral. However, at the moment, based on the graphs, everything looks very rosy, or looks fine, and all looks like it's going up. I don't believe it. I don't accept it. I think there's going to be significant interest rate hikes, and I think we're looking at anywhere between 1.5% and 2% minimum by the end of the year. Okay, I've been called a maverick, I've been called an extremist, I've been called a complete bear, I've been called a pessimist. Call me whatever you want. That's what I think the market's going to be. I want to prepare you for that particular move if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then I'll take all of those comments and I'll adapt them. You've also got Russia on Ukraine. That has not gone away, and it's not going to go away. Putin is not going to back down, because he will then be seen as a weak move, as a weak leader. He is going to invade Ukraine, in my opinion. You've also got that factor. If you want to trade and need any input on trading, which platform to go to, you can contact me on LinkedIn, contact me on this YouTube, on WhatsApp, Instagram, going to do an Instagram video. As I said, I always do one every day for 1 minute for those people who don't have patience to listen to a 4 or 5 minute YouTube Meir Walensky rattling on. This is Meir Walensky with Driving Markets. Have a good weekend.